You have people who are supposedly, there's always this. I've been in Washington 40 years, Gene. I haven't tried as many cases as you've tried, but I run around the bureaucracy. Jackie's absolutely right, and you confirmed it with, well, they're expressing their political views. They're expressing their political views, and they're making decisions about investigations. Therefore, their judgment is clouded. This idea that these government employees in Washington, D.C. that vote 94% for Democrats are somehow independent and they put this in check. Jackie's absolutely right. There's a political bias. And this is a confirmation in this report of that bias. That is exactly what happened here.
Yeah, Adolfo, the Durham investigation was one of several. There was an earlier investigation which was carried out by the Justice Department's Inspector General, Michael Horowitz. And that investigation came to the conclusion that the FBI's actions were not politically motivated. Well,
but it came to the conclusion, two things, that his authority is limited as an inspector general, unlike a special counsel. So his authority of what he can investigate and the issues are limited. What he concluded is all kinds of failures and, frankly, misrepresentations and lack of cooperation in FISA pleadings. So there was, what does this say? It's Jackie's point. There was a hurry and a demand and a political motivation to move forward on this case. And lastly, I want Gene to comment on this. Yeah. Once the evidence was clear, this lasted for 3 years, this investigation should have been turned off, and it wasn't turned off.
Okay. Gene, what we're hearing here is that there's a certain culture within the FBI that is inherently biased.
I got to tell you, I'm not saying the United States Department of Justice or the FBI is perfect. You go back to the Palmer raids in 1920. You go back to Korematsu under Attorney General Jackson, where they rounded up the Japanese. I get it. Hoover was spying on Martin Luther King. But there's no way you read this report, or you read the Mueller report, you read the Inspector General's report, or the bipartisan Senate Select Committee. There's no way you can say that there was a conspiracy, a deep state political conspiracy to go after Donald Trump. And the two torpedoes into that conspiracy, if it were a boat, were the 2 letters that Comey issued in the 10 days before the election. You just can't say that. I will say this. If Gene Rossi were head of that investigation, I would not have gone after probably the affidavits for Carter Page to get a search warrant. I would not have allowed an attorney to falsify an email. I would not have allowed uncorroborated allegations to rise to enough to open an extensive.
Yes, the other thing.
But Gene's confirming it now. He's confirming his own point. I believe you, Gene. You wouldn't have allowed it, but it was allowed because people had a political motivation. They're just so clear on this. Their emails you yourself refer. These people have a political motivation. You have Mr. Clapper without any Mr. Clapper, who is the head of the CIA, referring to Donald Trump as an asset of the Russians. That is completely, of course, this influences the bureaucracy that's already left-leaning.